Hello and welcome back to Xpwaste, where if I were a rune, I'd be an earth rune. I'm Michael.
And I'm Oxie. If you're new around here, welcome. We're a podcast that talks almost exclusively about old school RuneScape. Sometimes we'll talk about the news. Sometimes, like today, we'll talk about some fun general little tips. And sometimes we're almost certainly to get off topic and tangent on a bunch of fun stuff that's sometimes RuneScape related and sometimes not. So you'll just have to tune in and see. If you're not new around here, we survived the hell week of editing, and you guys so far have solved 9 of the 10 puzzles for bingo, and I'm very proud of you. Oh, Michael, it has been a week, let me tell you. How have you been this week?
I've been pretty good. I'm not gonna like try and be too positive because
No, you please be
make
positive.
you feel bad.
Please be positive. I don't think my week has been like overly negative, but like please be positive.
Well, I mean, life is shit right now, but RuneScape is good.
Power star.
I know, bro. I don't want to dump too much, but when my house flooded because we had a pipe burst leak, I did not expect for it to go almost 2 months for the process of getting everything put back. And on top of that, I don't have a job still. So like, it's just not been a good month. Otherwise, I mean, like health wise, perfect, fine. Weather's great. It's just, I don't know. I just want my house back, I feel. And I just want to have a job. But in RuneScape, it's all great, man. Gillinor's just perfect. I'm having fun. Still doing PVM, still on the way to 2K total. Like we're coming near to the end of the year. So I think I really have to like buckle down and figure out what I want to do. Because when this episode comes out, we have like a little over a week until bingo starts, I think. Or 2 weeks. I can't do time math apparently, but it's soon. And once bingo starts, we have bingo, and then I think there's like a 2-week break, 3 weeks maybe until leagues. I don't expect myself to be playing a whole lot of RuneScape in between, like after bingo ends and between league starts, because once league starts, like I don't expect for myself to log out, because like last time I was going for Rune Cup and it took me till the week that leagues ended to get Rune Cup. And so if I go for Rune Cup again, and depending on the regions that I pick, I could be going until the end of leagues again to get it. So there's just it's going to be a lot of RuneScape in the next month or 2 months or whatever. So I might play some Minecraft. I might try and finish Baldur's Gate. Might do something other than play this game. So for the end of year goals, we're coming up to the end of the year, so to say. So I'm still trying to get good at the gauntlet. I've been sending some Zulrah lately. What else? I've been doing some Slayer. Right now I'm doing some agility. Like, I think at the very least, I'll be kind of close to base 75s on the account. Or at least like close to base 80s in some stats. Like, I don't think I'm gonna get 80 Runecrafting by any means, but I could get to like 72, 73 if I really go for it. But other than that, no notable drops, I don't think. Since the last time we recorded with Potato last week. We didn't really get into what we've been up to, but I think it's actually confirmed my 3rd arcane. Let me check.
Bro,
I'm checking
the level log. Of mouthing in our GIM chat. Michael actually fully typed out in full caps the F word. He was so mad, and then went back and edited it when he was a little bit cooler up. He was so pissed that it was another arcane.
I did do that. Yep, Michael cusses sometimes.
Welcome to Ironman, bitch.
Welcome to my life when I get my 3rd effing arcane as my 4th, 7th, 6th, 5th purple.
Still no decks, by the way.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5th purple. So I have 5 purples in 143 KC. I feel like that's pretty good. I cannot complain. One of them was a mega scale, so it was like, do I count that or not? I don't know. But normally, if I was just playing normal points, like 4 purples and 142 KC, I feel like that's pretty good. What is that divided? So 142 divided by 4? 1 in 35?
I
What's the
think
general
it's
rate?
like per points. I don't know. It's
Oh, okay.
confusing. I don't understand it. I genuinely think you have a better purple rate than I do on my main with like 330 something KC
Oh,
because I did not see a purple in my name until like 108 KC. It was an
damn.
Elder Mall, which like was cool that was my first one, but this was in 2021 when Elder Malls were like 9 mil a piece. I remember me, Jamie, and TMD each got like 3.2 mil from the split. So like my first
3
ever
mil for an
my
Elder
first ever
Mall?
purple was a mega rare, and it was the cheapest mega rare in existence. And it was rough. And I want to say my first top purple was a Sang. So this is the origin story of how I grew to love Tob and not stupid Chambers. But I actually quite enjoy Chambers now that I don't go with people who are mean and shitty about it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It does make a huge difference. Like, whenever there's 2 things that make chambers like a make or break. Number 1, if you're constantly going with people who don't know what they're doing, it can be a very frustrating experience because when you understand the mechanics and when you can like successfully run the head in every single phase to where you're taking literally no damage, Chambers is night and day. And then 2, if you're going with people who are constantly ragging on you or trying to correct you, like within Oxie's experience, that is also not fun. So, like, the people you go with and the skill level of the people that you go with makes, I guess, any raid really make or break. But yeah, like Chambers is so much better now that I understand the mechanics and how they work, and I know how to run the head. I'm pushing myself, at least within the last couple raids that I did, to actually like mage skip, which has been interesting because it's a lot harder than I actually thought it was. With if you don't like if you get off the rhythm one time, I was kind of scrambling to get back into the rhythm, and then I was sending specials and it was like, oh, okay, I guess I didn't know as much as I know. Cause like when you watch somebody who's good at mage skipping, you're like, oh, they run left, they go to the middle, they run right. They run left, they go to the middle, they run right. But they're dealing with the acid walk. Sometimes they get the falling crystal thing. Sometimes they get the orb. Like there's a bunch of things that just get thrown at them that they like it's more than just left, middle, right. So, it I'm going to be practicing that more during bingo, hopefully. So if
If there's
somebody like,
Chambers on the board.
oh, if there's chambers on the board, sure, you're
We
absolutely right.
I think we've already leaked a tile that said there's raids on the board, and I just like being stupid. That's my favorite running joke in bingo. Is when people like say something that is almost certainly going to end up on the board, like raids, for example. Like, well, I can't wait to like learn to raid in bingo. I'm like bold of you to assume there's raids on the board. I don't know what you want from me. It's like what bingo doesn't have raids on it, you know?
Yeah. Well, if there's raids on the board, I'll be running head, and I will be, uh, I'll be, I'll be practicing that because I think that's like the one thing within chambers that I've not practiced or I've not been able to lead is like mage skipping. I don't think people melee skip from
No,
what I
you can.
understand.
So melee skipping is more of a solo tactic. You can
Mm.
I'm pretty sure you can do it if it's at melee set. You can melee skip with other people running the head. It's just not as popular because melee skipping, I believe do you is melee skipping 4-1? You can melee skip and then set up the mage skip because Immortal used to melee skip way back in the day when he would do group regular chambers with us way back. He would just melee skip and nobody would need to mage skip. But
Oh.
I don't know melee skipping and I don't know solo chambers. Like I love that I'm in the most unironic way possible. I kind of love that you are like looking down the hole of like just how deep chambers goes all these years we're like, yeah, Chambers is easy to get into, but super hard to master. And it's the opposite with Tob, where like it's a super steep climb to survive the raid, and then you just like plateau skill level wise and you just hone your skills. I love now that you're like, dude, mage skipping actually kind of fucking sucks. I'm like, yup, it just gets harder. It's because then you
Yeah.
gotta you're talking like 3-0, you're talking 4-1. There's a I don't know what the method is, but there's a way to do like a 3-0 type thing with a shadow. Because all these methods were made with 4-tick weapons, and the shadow came out and is objectively just so much better. So there's a way to do like a solo method with a shadow now. I don't know how to do any of
Oh,
it.
really?
Yeah, I don't know how to do any of this stuff. I think I have like 4 solos in my time, and they're so janky. They're so janky, but you're learning. He's starting to believe. I've been saying all year long. He's starting to believe.
Solo raids are on my horizon at some point. Like, I think I might start with solo Toas when I get the gear that I want. So like I want a Bofa and I want a blowpipe and I want a stab weapon that's not a Karis. So like Fear has
Sammy
already
trip.
said
Sammy
we're
trip.
going to Zammy at
Sammy
some
trip.
point.
We've been trying to get a
So
Sammy trip going for so long on the GIMs, dude.
maybe now that bingo stuff is like calmed down, we can go this week or next week before bingo actually starts. Cause like I don't need to go to Tormented Demons.
You absolutely do not. No.
I don't.
Solo
We can
Krill,
do it
it's
without it.
nice. It's nice for the Scorching Bow, I've heard, but if we're going as a team, 3 arc lights will fuck up Sammy.
Yeah. 3 arc lights and I can tank. I can do all that. I can wear all my best gear and tank and be the tanky boy. But once we get to Zammy, once we get a spear, once I get a Bofa, once I get a blowpipe, I think I'll start with like solo Toa and then I don't know, maybe pull a shadow, maybe pull a fang. A fang for sure. I don't know what I would do with a shadow because like I don't have the runecrafting level to keep up with soul runes, and I don't have the money on my account to keep up with buying them from the rift or whatever it is, or the crack, the crevice, the I don't know what the thing that you get whenever you do Desert Treasure 2.
Yeah, the crack.
Where you can just buy the crack. Okay. I don't have the. Do you have to have the runecrafting level? I don't think you do. Wait, do you? You do. I haven't researched it at all, so I'm kind of just talking. Anyway, if I pull the right items, then I'll go to solo chambers and learn that because I genuinely think solo chambers seems like fun. You do the whole raid yourself, and then if you get a purple, you're not splitting with anybody, and it's just yours. And there, I don't know. It seems like fun. So, other than that, I can't think of a single thing that I would like to talk about anymore. But I would like to hear about your time in this world of Gildanor and
Bruh.
in the real one.
I'm gonna keep it a buck with you guys. I had a blast making all these videos and watching you guys solve all these puzzles. Daily videos is holy shit. Daily videos is a big ask when you have a 9 to 5. Like I leave my house at 7:30 in the morning. I come back at 5:30 in the evening. And there were some videos where like I didn't have time throughout the workday to script them. So I had to go home and write the scripts and then record the audio and then get all the shots. And then once everything was in place, figure out how and where I was going to put the puzzles in. Because I had to make the puzzles difficult, but not impossible. Like overall, great time. Would 100% do it again. Wow, I wish I would have had some more time off. Like it was truly bad RNG too. Like there was a day I was a sandwich lady. Oh, I got a beekeeper pog. There was a day where I had a remote day with like not much to do on the remote day, and I was actually quite excited to like do a lot of work for these videos. I ended up scripting one of the videos. I got both Springo 23 and Skill Tree Bingo scripted and like done. And then I was like about to start, like I recorded the audio and I was ready to start going for the video that was coming out that night. And then I had a crisis appointment that lasted me like 4 hours. And I'm like, well, guess I don't have time to do any of that now. So I just sort of like got that video out super late. And then the next day it was also super late because I tried to like do more for the King of the Hill, the skill tree bingo one. It was just a lot. It was a lot of things, and I wish I could say that like that's going to be the last of my editing tribulations. I know that it's not. I know the cadence of release for videos we have planned for both the show and bingo, and I know it's not going to. So my goal is to just like get some work done this week when I'm not editing the show and I only have to make a commercial. Like I have to make today's commercial, which I hate to do this. It's gonna be shorter and it's gonna be not the quality that I am hoping for because I think I need to just give myself a break and not like bust my ass to make this like a blockbuster quality commercial. Like I'm going to try to keep it to like 2 minutes or under. I really enjoyed last week's commercial. I don't know about you guys. I had a blast with last week's commercial. It was done on time. It felt fun to make. I really enjoyed it. I showed it to my sister cuz she likes Halloween stuff. Um and she's like, "So this isn't real though." I'm like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "Well, there's not really a parasite." I'm like, okay, obviously, Lizzie, it's a RuneScape thing. And she's like, I mean, don't get me wrong, the video is just scary, but like, I don't understand what any of this is. So then my sister, without asking for it, got like a 20-minute lore dump on Desert Treasure 2 and how frightening some of the parts of the quest are.
That's
Um,
amazing.
yeah, I'm excited. I have a lot of editing to do, but it's all fun stuff. So I'll just have to power through that. Because I have been editing, I have been dragging ass with rune crafting. Turns out it's really hard to rune craft and get B-roll at the same time. It's really difficult to do that. So I have been just down horrendously. I think I'm currently sitting at 12k rune crafting till 98. But
Ooh.
so we're close to 98. We're gonna get 98 here very, very, very soon. And then what I'm thinking, my game plan this Friday, I think I'm gonna get 99 rune crafting. I think I'm gonna do it. This Friday is the day, 99 rune crafting 2275. So if you're listening to this episode in the recording booth chat, I have 5 days. If you're listening to this episode on day of release, which the episode's actually going to release on time this week, I'm so sorry about that. So sorry, Potato. I'm so sorry, XP Wasters. But anyways, the episode's going to go live, and I will be 24 hours away from finishing rune crafting. I will be very, very, very close to finishing 99 rune crafting. I think the game plan is instead of getting like 800k away, I am going to get like 400k away, and then I'm gonna see if any of y'all want to just run Essence for fun after the thing. There might be some stuff afterwards, but I'm thinking if we can just do like an hour of Essence running to get the the 99 that we all got together kind of bit that we talked about. Because A, I don't want to do that kind of click intensive activity of Essence running for like 4 hours. And B, I don't want to ask you guys to do that for free. Like I can't afford Essence runners from 98 to 99. So we're going to do a combination of ZMI and Guardians of the Rift this week, or I guess we will have done that this week. And then tomorrow, 99 rune crafting. Which, speaking of things in the future that are also in the past, I believe bingo signups have closed, which kind of transitions into the main title content of the week, sort of. Because that's pretty much all I've been doing is making videos and rune crafting. Like I'm killing chompies on my iron. If you see me looking over here, I got 2 client windows open because this is the first time I'm like actually able to play in like 6 days. So we got some progress to catch up on. But yeah.
Did you
Oh, dude, I totally forgot. I'm in a new space. And by new space, I mean my living room. I got a new desk finally. I ordered one in July and it got stolen, I'm pretty sure. So I finally got my desk back. And yeah, now I'm out here. It's not complete. Michael noticed the very well cultured lamps without shades and the nothing on the wall and the little Halloween guy behind me. My sister got him for me at an antique store. So yeah, like I have a lot to do in that space where you see the guy hanging up. I have a saber mask that I'm going to hang there. but I need to have some way to secure it to the wall better. And then I'm going to mount, I have a decoration saber and my first ever practice foil. I'm going to mount them in like a
That's cool.
Jolly Roger way. So that's going to be over the TV, which will be cool. So yeah, this is going to be the space for a while. It's probably going to change here in the coming weeks of like the designs of like what's behind it, you know, because I kind of want to make it look nice. Like this is also my living room in my 1-bedroom apartment. So it's got to be, we were talking about this before we started recording. It's got to be a combination of like cool, aesthetically pleasing apartment and RuneScape podcast recording booth. Like I was telling Michael earlier, I want it to be a mix of like well-off single guy in his late 20s and just a little bit of turbo version with like the RuneScape, you know, like I have a RuneScape desk mat right now that one of my buddies got for me. So like, yeah, I'm towing the line pretty well. So I got to make like this half of my apartment pretty mature, and then this little slice right here can be like, you know, Verzik is my mommy or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
I love it. Yeah, I can't wait to see how it evolves. Because I remember moving into this house, my background changed almost week to week as I started to settle in. And so it'll be fun to watch your background change and evolve. And as you start to live in the space, because like obviously you can't keep it recording booth ready every day. That's just unrealistic. Like if I move, you can see a bunch of shit on the ground that you can't because I moved it. But before we started recording, there was a bunch of stuff because my house is not in order. So like over there's a bunch of stuff. So that'll be interesting.
Yeah. So things have been good. I do think it's time we shift into the main title content of today's episode, though, because I feel like that's all I've done.
Yeah. Well, I do want to call out. Otis just said, "Is Michael purposefully outlining his body with the postcards?"
Yes.
And yes.
He absolutely is. We've mentioned it many times during the community question section before. He 100 million% has an outline of his head, so it looks way more full than it does, and he never covers anybody's postcards.
So if you send more postcards, they're just going to go in this area. They're not going to go.
You guys, we have a new goal. We have to get so many postcards sent to Michael
gosh.
He has no choice but to put some behind his
Please
head.
do. Whenever I check the P.O. box and it's empty, I just cry. I don't cry, but it's really sad. Oh, speaking of packages, I've got one coming to you because...
Did it actually get sent out this week?
Yeah, it'll be there tomorrow. Mima gave us some cool little cups. This one, it's a little, probably like an espresso cup, but I used it as a shot glass the other night and it was really cool. But he hand burned our names into the cups, and then I can't show you now because it's on my keys, but gave us a little keychain. I have a dog and Oxie has a cat, and so I sent that to him, and it should be there tomorrow. So anyway, now, yes, let's get into main title content. So this episode is going to be for 3 distinct people all at the same time, hopefully.
Only Number 3 individuals, though. Not 3
just
groups.
3 people.
3 individuals.
Well, 3 groups of individuals. They're very large. The first group is going to be roughly 500 people, hopefully, maybe. We might reach our cap, but there'll be about 500 people listening to the show. If you don't count me and Oxie and Tiki, 497 people listening to the show that don't know what's happening with bingo and they need to get prepared. And so we'll have that group that we're going to talk to. The second group is people who hopefully have come back to the game, but have not experienced the game. You know what you did. In the last 2 years, 3 years, maybe. And we're going to help you get back into it. So if metas have changed, if you're not sure about some items, maybe you're wearing dragon legs and a rune plate body, and you're like, I have the best in slot gear. Honey, you don't. And then I forgot what the third group was, but you know who you are. You'll figure it out.
Bro, I really know who the third group of people is. I don't know why you said
there was only group. 2.
We never even talked about a third group. So if you're part of that third group, please let me know.
Yeah. If you find yourself identifying with the third group, oh, wait, no, the third group is the people who don't care. So you're not in bingo and you're not coming back to the game. You're in the third group. And what I want you to do, if you're in the third group and you're listening to this episode and you're like, guys, you're talking about Moons of Peril gear. I'm a blur of a main with an Infernal Maxscape. Okay, I know. Just keep listening. Because what I want you to do, if you're in this third group, I want you to tell us two things. What we could have changed or done differently, and if there's anything we missed. So you're kind of here to help us after the fact. So now that we have that out of the way, let's get these people prepped for bingo. This will be one of our largest events that we've ever done.
Without
in
question,
this
our
Discord.
largest event.
Yes.
This is going to be insane.
I thought last bingo was huge. We had what, like over 450 people? I can't remember
like
the exact
480
amount.
signups. I looked the other day when I was making the video, 480 signups. It was absurd. And
It's a lot.
signups have already, I will reiterate, signups have already closed. Buy-ins have not. If you have signed up and not bought in, you have until like Friday night to buy in. So
Which is tomorrow
if you're
night.
listening to this episode like after work and you're like, oh shit, I should do that. Like go and get someone to get your buy-in like right now. Because buy-ins are due like very soon. But Otis said he stood in line for 6 hours to sign up. Otis was there the night before camping out with the other front row fanatics, dude.
And it was the same concert. If you don't pay your buy-in, you're not going to get drafted. That's the hard truth. If you don't pay the $5 million, you will not be put on a team, even though you signed up. So if there's like a situation where like you're an Ironman and you just don't have $5 million, but you really want to play in bingo, or you don't have the money and it's going to put a big chunk into your bank, like let us know. Obviously, we can help out in those situations, because there's been a lot of people who are like, hey, I'd like to just pay for somebody. And in those situations, it's hard for us just to take somebody's random $5 million and then coordinate, be like, but this guy gave us $5 million, but we have like an extra. So just let us know. And we have people who are willing to help. If you really can't pay the buy-in, we'll figure it out. So, but it has to be paid. That's the thing. Has to be paid by tomorrow night. If you're listening to this, the day this episode comes out, Friday, the 25th, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
Is it it's the 25th, midnight in the US. But what's on the agenda? So we're going to be talking about bingo prep. There's a lot of things that like go into bingo prep more than just getting your food and your potions ready. And so I've asked Oxie to think of some things like gear wise that will help you to prepare.
It's going to be a very interesting episode. Michael and I have very different philosophies on bingo prep, and I think we're going to get a good mix of the both today.
So why don't you go ahead and start? Because I have nowhere. I don't know where I would start.
So I think this is just to kind of add more context to what I just sort of alluded to. Michael and I have very different philosophies, because for me, gear upgrades are almost always the least of my concern for bingo. And I can hear people typing right now, yeah, it's just because you're poor in the Xpwaste chat, and I get it. That's true. However, like when you are at the like 50 mil, 100 mil, 250 mil, maybe considering like a Bofa rebuild or something like that level of your account, there are not many tradable upgrades that are going to make a substantial difference for bingo that it's worth buying them right now, in my opinion. So I always tell people that if you can have a cash stack going into bingo, that's perfect. That's probably my number one thing, is have a chunk of money, like whatever that looks like for you in your account. If you're a mid-game low level account and you have like, I don't know, 5 or 6 mil laying around, or you could scrounge up 5 or 6 mil so you have some semblance of a cash stack, perfect. That's ideal. If you're a point where like I am on my main, you can have 40, 50, 100, 200 mil laying around. That's also, again, ideal, because what I've found happens in bingo, right? If you're on the lower end of the wealth spectrum, higher level players in your team may be able to help you out with some things. It's not a guarantee, and I would never put the high level players on these teams in that kind of position to be like, hey, you need to give money to the low level players. I would never do that. That's not what I'm suggesting. I'm just simply saying, I know myself as a player, and if you come to me and you're like, yeah, dude, I'm trying to get the Zulrah drop with my Warp Scepter and my Magic Sharp Bow, I'm just going to give you shit. And I have met several other people who will do that exact thing. It's like, no, you're not doing that. Like, not on my bingo team, you're not, So I there is always like that, which again, not a requirement, but like when you get to the point where you're wearing Blood Torva and you have Ancestral and all that, 600k for a Trident of the Seas is negligible, like that type of an upgrade. But having a cash stack going into bingo, if you're a high level player for that reason, is super helpful. And as a low level player, you kind of have the ability to buy things and flex items as you need, right? So, one thing that's come up in the past for bingos that is only kind of useful outside of bingo is the spectral spirit shield for Cerberus. In the past, we've had several Cerberus tiles, several variations of Cerberus tiles, where if you've never done Cerb without a spectral, holy shit, it's a crusty boss. You just lose like 60 prayer points every couple of seconds. And the spectral makes a big difference. So like that is an example of having like when you have access to that kind of a cash stack and you can buy yourself a spectral or something like that just for a Cerberus task to then sell it and get something else that's more useful. I've found cash stack to be super useful. Um, and then yeah,
That's
also
a good
like
shout.
very briefly for mains, if you have a lot of money, have so much supplies you just won't run out. Like if you unless you are in the lower end of the bracket, have like 300 brews, 300 restores, several hundred pieces of hard food, boost potions, stamina potions, just like be prepared because nothing kills the momentum of a trip if you're bossing more than like, sorry guys, I have to go buy more super combats, BRB. But yeah, that's how we will continue to talk about gear, but like for main accounts, cash stack is a big must for me.
That's actually a good shout when it comes to like being mid bingo. And like I don't know that I've ever been there and like to speak to this as a personal experience, but I can imagine you're mid bingo, you're doing the content. Like say you go to Sire and you've run out of sharks, but you have no money. Now you have to sell stuff, or now you have to like take time out of doing the event to then get the things that you need to do the event again. The time spent in bingo can be crucial. Like, what wins bingo, Oxie?
Hours, baby.
Hours. So, whenever we're looking at like getting the drop, the completing the board, none of that is done without putting in the hours to do it. And so, taking time out of those hours to do things that aren't progressing your team during bingo, just kind of feels bad. So, having a cash stack is huge. And for irons, like it's less of a cash stack thing, but more of a let's take this week and just do as many herb runs as possible, collect the secondaries, make the potions. If you have raw fish, make sure they're cooked. Make sure that you're not going to run out of charges mid, mid bingo. Like I'm already thinking for myself because I'm doing bingo on my iron this year. I'm thinking I need to get death runes, I need to cook my karambwans, and I need to make some more restores. Those are the three things that I'm going to be doing leading up to the start of bingo because right now I have 300 karambwans left and I have 7 restores. I have 700 brews. So like that's probably fine, but the restores and maybe the prayer potions, I have like 120 prayer potions. So I think that should be okay. But if I want to try and do content, I'm going to need to get more supplies, more charges. I have 2,000 death runes. So what that looks like for me is I'll probably either go and run some wilderness agility or kill some zombies or whatever they're called, the zombie pirates. And I'm going to get a nice like buffer to my cash stack so that I can go and shopscape for a little while and beef up my stock of runes. Because for me, the best way to get death runes is not to race cats the week leading up to bingo. The best way for me to do it is to just buy them, unfortunately. And so straight GP is the name of the game. But If you're running with a warp scepter, I would just do barrows, honestly. Like if you're on a mid game iron, just run some barrows. Like you're always going to be net positive if you have the Mauritania Hard Diary done. If you're using a warp scepter, because like you definitely aren't going to use more than you're going to get every single run. And that like it's not that bad because you're getting runes for the charges that you're going to be using, and two, if you happen to get a Barrows chest, it could be a gear upgrade for you. Yes, it feels bad if Barrows is on the board. You're going to be missing out on having that item be something that you can count for the bingo. But I always think if like if you're doing content to get gear upgrades before bingo, it's only going to make the content that you're doing during bingo that much better. Like if the gauntlet and if Zola are on the board for this bingo, I could stop and think, man, I shouldn't be grinding for my Zola drops. I shouldn't be doing the corrupted gauntlet this close to bingo. But like those things are going to be items that will like massively change the way that I can do content during the event. So you kind of have to like toe the line of don't waste your RNG before the event. And if you're an iron, at least, like, should I go for the items that would make bingo better? And that's kind of where my head has been at with this bingo prep. Because like the food and the potions are easy. I'm going to have them. I'm going to need them. I'm going to get them. But do I push for these things this close to bingo with the chance that they'll be on the board? I don't know. I think it's still far enough out that I think it's worth it. But as we get to the days and hours before bingo starts, definitely not going to be doing any content that potentially could appear on the board. Just for the fact that like, if I got a drop an hour before the event starts, and then I find out that that drop could have counted for the board, I'm gonna feel so bad. I'm gonna feel so bad. Otis says, so you're letting me off the hook to get Beneath Cursed Sands done? No, Otis, you need to get Beneath Cursed Sands done. There's literally no more excuses.
You know what? That goes perfectly into my next point. Tradable upgrades are only going to be like marginal differences. The only one that I can think of that is going to be so significant that you need to spend money on it is probably the Dexterous Prayer Scroll. Other than buying Rigor and maybe Augury, I cannot think of anything that is as useful for you to do. But holy shit, untradeable things, quests, diaries, small little like niche upgrades from like mini games and shit like that. Oh my god. It's we've talked about it so many times on this show, the importance of getting your quest cape and being able to go to every area in the game. Like the only gameplay requirement we have to be a captain, right? Like we've got some pretty good captains this year. We've got Infernal Max Capers, we got Blorva Havers, we got Raiders, we got all sorts of good players. The only hard requirement that we have is a quest cape in general, because we want people to like be able to do everything. Like you should not be leading a team in bingo if you cannot get to every location on the board. So for us, right, we require basically a quest cape or all the major like Grandmaster quests. I'm like, if you haven't done like Ribbiting Tail, A, that's a mistake on your part, but B, it's not going to affect your ability to like lead your team, right? So if there's a quest that you haven't done yet, if there's Wild Gothic Sleeps, Desert Treasure 2, Beneath Cursed Sands, that type of quest that you have been just sitting on, you know, like, oh, maybe I'll do this whenever. You have no more excuses. Do it this week. Get your requirements this week and do it next week, but have it done for bingo, right? Because even if you're thinking to yourself, like, dude, I don't have the total level to go for Desert Treasure 2 bosses. I can't kill those things. I've watched videos of TOA. There's no way that I do it, right? There's maybe no way that you do it by yourself. But when you're on a bingo team with people who have done like 500 level raids, when people who have done the Awakened bosses, like it is so much easier for you to get the help you need to do the content in bingo, right? But if you don't have access to it, like we can't help you do quests. We can help you finish a raid. I take pretty much everybody through a 150. You know, that doesn't bother me at all. But if you're like 7 agility levels off beneath Cursed Sands, you're just not doing that content this week, dog. Like, that's kind of how I feel about it. And to me, that's the most important, one of the most important pieces is like, you just have to be able to get everywhere. You know, if you can get your quest cape or get near your quest cape or finish a GM that you're close to or finish, a hard diary or an elite diary, do it. Untradables are very, 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 very important for this kind of thing.
That reminds me that I need to do Desert Treasure before Bingo.
Bro, part
I have my quest cape.
Part of me wants to do Desert Treasure before you do. Just to like, because I'm in the process of doing it. Well, like, I thought about it. If it weren't for the videos, I think I may have snuck a quest cape on you without even realizing it. Because I have the requirements to do everything. I got 69 Slayer the other day, so I can do everything on the GIM. And I was like, dude, I think I'm gonna jump scare Michael, and just the next time we're together, just like have a quest cape on. Like, what's taking you so long, Michael? And then I spent 6 straight days so deep in the sauce that I could not do anything else. So like, I don't think I'm gonna beat you to a quest cape, assuming you're gonna do DT2 this week. But I am I did let it be known that I did try.
Well, I still have Monk's Friend. I don't have to get my quest cape immediately after I do Desert Treasure too. So we can still do it together if you wanted to. I think that would be fun to get quest cape together on the irons. Just as something that we
go claim it together. Yeah, I was gonna say, because I already have Monk's Friend done. And with DT2, as you guys have seen from the Vardorvis video, and as I'm sure you'll see with this upcoming commercial for this episode, I've spent the last month doing DT2 because I need to get footage from it. Which is why I was so shocked when Seth was like, yeah, dude, you ever seen the world map viewer? Oh my God. The world map viewer function it's a website you can go to, and it has like super high res live images of the map from various points in time. Like, you can go all the way back to like 2004 when RuneScape 2 released. There's like no Grand Exchange, there's no Prif, there's like nothing like that. And it's super cool and it's very high quality. So I've considered just like burning through DT2, but at the same time, I'm like, you know what? I just want to get this as high quality as possible, and then I can play around with that. So who knows? I've just got a lot to do. So maybe I'll get my quest cape before Bingo. I'm not playing on my GIM, but maybe.
Just fun thing to do. So we talked about like gear briefly, but now I want to talk to that second group of people. If you're coming back to the game and it's been a while, like if you haven't played within the year of 2024, Varlamore has changed the game significantly, I would say. There's a lot of gear that, and I'll just say it, like the Moon's gear, the Perilous Moon's gear, is in most cases like just a budget version of another piece of gear. Specifically the Blood Moon. It's not necessarily like budget anymore because people have gotten wise to the fact that it's absolutely cracked. But there was a time where like Blood Moon tacits were 3 or 4 mil, and now people have realized that like they're basically Bandos tacits, but cheaper. So I think at this point, let me look and see, like they're over 10 mil, surely. I think I saw Fear got like the dual Magahados, and those were 12 mil or something. Blood Moon tacits. Yeah, they're 16 mil. So yeah, the Blood Moon
That's
tacits
crazy that PM
mil.
is that good money. Holy shit.
16
Oh shit, that's
mil.
98 Runecrafting. I didn't even notice that.
GZ.
Oh.
Hell yeah, dude. So the Blood Moon tacits are 16 mil. Like it toes the line of what we call budget, in the sense that you could just spend another what are regular tacits? Let me see.
It took twice the price.
They're 19 mil.
No.
So
Bandos tacits are not 19 mil.
When I look at the guide price, I mean the GE price may be different.
Bandos tacits are only 20 mil? What happened? Have they always been that way? Have they always been that cheap?
The chest plates that's expensive.
God damn, it must be, dude. That was a jump scare. I thought tacits were still like 30 mil. Wow. Yike. It's really
The
not
chest
that
plate,
much
yeah,
more
the
budget then. Okay, it's not that much
chest plate's
different.
30 mil.
It's not that much different to go from Blood Moon to Bandos, I guess.
Crazy.
Blood
Well,
Moon's
I
a lot
think the
easier to get if you're doing it
Blood
yourself.
Moon is so much easier to get, and like when it comes to the set effect, I think that's what is keeping Blood Moon so expensive. Number one, it's basically the same strength bonus as Bandos. I think you sacrifice a little bit of defense, but the same strength bonus, melee strength as Bandos. But when you combine them all together, it has that set effect. I think it's blood, so obviously it has to do with like healing, but I can't remember. It's like a bleed effect or something if you have the dual Mankahados. But the dual Mankahados, uh, pretty good if you're going to be doing Moons of Peril. So it kind of follows that progression of like the content that you're doing usually is best done with the gear that you get from that content. And so with Moons of Peril being a good moneymaker at this point, it only makes sense that like the gear that comes from it has continued to be good money, with the Blood Moon being the most expensive. But I say all that to say, like, there are a lot of things that have come out and new metas that have come out, that have kind of changed how this game is run from a sort of mid game to end game standpoint. Like I asked Oxie earlier to kind of think about some gear that if you don't have bukus of money, what's like one step down from best in slot? The ones that I could think of is like obviously Ancestral's really good. But with Desert Treasure 2 that came out within the last year or two, Virtus was released. And so Virtus is obviously the next step down in terms of like, if you can't afford Ancestral, maybe you can afford Virtus. And then the other one that I thought of was like, because I know that you're rocking this. If you have Missouri, but you don't have them as like the money to get like the fortified Missouri, unfortified Missouri is still pretty good. But I can't speak to that directly because I've never actually owned Missouri other than trying to flip it for money. So I can't speak to that. But there's been a lot of content that has come out in the last year or two, that has kind of changed the way that we look at gear in this game. Armadill's not the best in slot anymore. You don't have to have Ancestral to be cracked. Like you don't have to have Bandos. You don't have to have Torva. You can get around. You can do content in this game with gear that has since been released. So any thoughts on that there, Oxy?
Um, do your research on strength bonuses. Do your research on magic damage and range strength and melee strength and figure out what is your best option, right? Because as we all know, the best way to kill a boss in RuneScape is to kill it quickly. So prioritizing higher strength bonus is always going to be the play. Like Blood Moon tacits are objectively better than Avi legs. I'm fairly certain. I think tacits are better than Blood Moon because I think tacits have a higher defensive bonus, but don't quote me on that, right? Missouri versus Missouri, like fortified Missouri. Exact same range strength bonus. You're gonna get the same max hits with a T-bow, with a ZCB, with whatever. I want to say fortified Missouri is like 2 or 3 times more powerful per defensive category, depending on what you're talking about. Like, I just looked like the mage defensive unfortified Missouri is like 25. It's like 75 unfortified. So like there's defensive bonuses and there's a bit of prayer bonus that comes with fortification. Um, that's what I would pay attention to. I believe Virtus has some sort of set for. Does Virtus still have a set effect with the ancients, or did that get scrapped many years ago? I don't actually remember, but
Oh, I think Virtus like jumps up to being absolutely cracked with ancients. The magic damage bonus goes up to 15% with ancients
hmm.
versus like 3 or something. Let me look that up while you're
Yeah, that's what I would look at. I would look at strength bonuses. I would look at prices. I would look at strength bonuses. Because again, right, like gear is flexible. You can always buy new and better gear. And we've always said like you can do pretty much any piece of content in the game with any gear if you understand how to do it. So that's what I would pay attention to, of like what matters to you most. What's going to best complement the weapons that you have, right? Like if you have Bofa, don't spend money on Missouri. Just don't. It's genuinely not worth it. Like if you have Bofa, but you don't have a T-bow, you don't have a ZCB, whatever. Crystal is good enough for whatever other ranged weapons you'll use. Blowpipe, dragon crossbow, whatever it is. Yeah, because I mean, once you get up to like endgame territory, like you're talking a difference of like, I think Bandos top and bottom with Nezi, the jaw. It's like, I don't know, maybe 60 to 80 mil for all of it. I want to say a full set of Torva is like 800 mil. So like, it's like not even close as far as like comparing prices,
Apples to
and things
apples,
like that.
yeah.
Yeah, like it's the price of between Bandos and Torva is so extreme that look at strength bonuses if that's where you're at, and then find the best gear for you. But then also understand that like nitpicking stats doesn't always matter, right? Like if you lose 1% magic damage because you're not wearing, you're wearing a book over a ward, like a lot of the times it's a who cares type deal. Like people will care about efficiency, and like max damage and all that, but I feel like I don't know who was talking about it. I feel like maybe I heard it on Gothic's Rest. They kind of mentioned that like we're kind of moving away from that as a community. They're like, oh my God, if you're not the most efficient, you're playing wrong kind of vibe. Which I think is a welcome change, Pay
Absolutely.
attention to strength bonuses, pay attention to your budget, and understand that like as a main account to prep for bingo, there's a lot more that you're gonna need. And if you find the upgrade to be necessary, go for it. But I would, as far as like new stuff that's come out, I'm trying to think of like within the last year what has come out that has been tradable that's worth getting. Only thing I could maybe think of, depending on what's on the board, and it's a bit of a hefty ask price wise. Only thing I could maybe think of is a tormented synapse for the Emberlight and the scorching bow. I don't think anyone uses the purging staff. Those are the only two things that I would like consider for a tormented synapse. Dragon Hunter Lance might not be a bad one. Again, it depends on what's on the board though. Like I would wait if you have that kind of cash stack sitting around, Dragon Hunter Lance money, tormented synapse money, wait and see what's on the board. Don't commit to something that you may or may not be able to sell back, because like if there are no, again, it's ridiculous how we say it, but like if there are no demons on the board, you're now out 60 mil, right? So
I would say even for outside of bingo use, Emberlight and Scorching Bow, with the fact that there are so many demons, on the way to 99 Slayer, you have so many opportunities to kill demons just with the tasks that you get offered. Abyssal demons, black demons, greater demons. Like there are so many different options for you that I think if you could pick one and spend that 60 mil doing a boss like Sire, doing a boss like even if you were to camp demonic gorillas or even TDs.
Bro, demonic gorillas are worth so much money right now. Zenites are like 17 mil. Zenites are ridiculous. Zenites are what the hell? Zenite shards are 18 mil a piece. Holy shit!
Well, the Amulet of Rancor it skyrocketed that
that's
the
crazy.
Anguish.
I think it's because they also nuked a bunch of bots recently.
Did they?
Yeah,
love to hear that. This is kind of like long past the point, but I did confirm Virtus. Like each set of Virtus is 2% magic damage. But when you use Ancients while wearing Virtus, you get an extra 3% per piece. So if you're wearing the full Virtus set, instead of 6% magic damage, you get 15%. So it becomes the best magic armor. So if you're doing your barrage tasks or your burst tasks, or you're doing something where you are casting a lot of ancient spells, having Virtus will be a noticeable upgrade over Ancestral or something like Aram's.
Specifically for the ancient spellbook. That
specifically for ancients.
Because that bonus does not apply for the Shadow or the Sang Staff.
Absolutely. It's 2%, which in terms of any sort of magic gear, it's right in the middle. Ancestral is 3%. Everything else is 1%. So you have a pretty mid option, mid in a good way.
Middle of the road.
Middle of the road middle of the road option. So to your point earlier, when you're talking about like, if you don't have that 1%, people aren't going to make a big deal. That can work in the opposite, but in your favor. So think about this. You went and bought a shiny new upgrade before bingo started, and it cost you a lot of money. Like it was a big hit to your cash stack. Say you did buy a Virtus top that was 70 mil, and maybe it was a little outside your price range, but you're like, hey, I deserve it. I want to spoil myself. Maybe you take that money, you take that 70 mil, you sell your Virtus top, you downgrade it to an Aram's top. It's 1% difference, but you have like another 69 mil back into your bank that then you can use for supplies, you can use for other things. So that's just a way to kind of move around your cash stack in terms of like if it's only a 1% difference, that extra GP might make the difference more than that 1% is going to make a big difference. Because if you sell the Virtus top, maybe now you can afford something that gives you, like maybe you can afford Eternal Boots or the Bellator ring, which is probably not worth it. But there's other things like look at your items. If it's more expensive than it should be for the upgrade that it gives you, consider downgrading, and then maybe after bingo you can have your treat back or something. That's how I would do it, I think. Like I think I actually did that last bingo. Like I think I sold my Sang staff for a Trident of the Swamp, and then I used that whatever money that I saved and got other gear upgrades. Just because I'm like, I don't really need 100 mil staff when like a 3 or 4 mil staff can do the job adequately enough that I can afford some other things, or like I can put this money into getting my teammates something else, because at that point I was playing on the main. So just something to think about there.
I have 2 more points. I initially had 1 more point, and then the recording booth chat brought up a great. So I got 1 more for my mid game players and 1 more for my end game players. For my mid game players, lower level, mid game, even like early late game players, Big Bad Ape brought up a wonderful point in the recording booth chat that I do want to touch on. Leveling up your combat stats is always going to have a bigger effect on your max hits and your accuracies and your defensive bonuses than any piece of gear will, right? You will be tankier with higher defense. You will live longer with 99 hit points. You will hit harder and you will hit more accurate with 99 everything else, right? 99 prayer is more of a quality of life than anything else. But the more prayer you have, obviously, the less you have to worry about supply management. If you're close to a level, whatever that level is, if you're close to 90, 95, 80, 85, whatever it is, so many people have been getting 99 combat stats in the last couple of like weeks because of that, because those milestones are more important in a lot of ways. I think it's something like if you're completely naked, I don't remember the exact stats. Somebody laid it out somewhere and I don't remember, but it's like if you're wearing like basically naked garbage melee gear with 99 strength and piety, you're going to have a higher max hit than if you were in full Torva with like 80 strength or something, an Infernal Cape. So it's like train your stats. If you got money laying around and you want to buy chins or buy runes to burst, train your stats up. It's absolutely going to be worth it for the mid game players.
That's so big brain. I
Where
didn't even think of that.
Where the best ways to train your combat stats are, I'm not 100% sure. I've heard Scurious is very good. Bossing is, it's not great combat XP per hour. But like it kind of goes back to like doing quests. Like Night at the Theater gives a shit ton of combat XP. Monkey Madness 2 gives a shit ton of combat XP. Dragon Slayer gives, I don't think Dragon Slayer gives any combat XP actually. Desert Treasure 2 gives combat XP, but it gives it also gives you the option to put it in prayer. And if you don't have 99 prayer, please put it in prayer. Because 300k prayer is so good. So good. Vacant Void says magic level is a major factor in magic defense as well. It helps massively with a lot of content. Yes, that is true. So it's a little bit different with players versus NPCs. So NPCs, if I remember correctly, their magic level is their magic defense. If a creature has a magic level of 1, they have basically 0 mage defense. Like Dagonoth Rex, for example. He has a level 1 mage level. That's why the T-bow sucks, and you can melt him with a trident and full melee gear because he doesn't have any magic defense. With a player, it's a little bit different. With a player, it's magic level, defense level, and then whatever prayers and gear they have. Obviously, players are a little bit more complex, but magic level does play an important part in like that style specific defense that goes into it. So you'll be tankier, particularly at bosses that are typeless or that you can't pray against, like raid bosses, large group bosses. I know we leaked a nightmare tile. So as a team, going to nightmare, higher stats is going to be helpful there. I'm not saying go from like 70 to 99 in a week, but like literally any improvement to your combat stats is positive. Like as a captain, that's what I like to see. Once either pre bingo or like, especially like that post draft pre bingo period, when the lower third of my team is busting their balls to do quests and get levels, that is like the happiest I get because they are progressing their account to that degree. Big Bad Ape says, just did the calc, max mage gear with a trident, ancestral magus ring, all that, and 80 mage is almost 1 DPS less than full mystic with no tormented if you have 99 mage. That is ancestral, like absolute max mage gear with a trident and 80 mage. Like it is baffling. I get it's told like, oh, it's a different weapon. It has a different max hit. Like, I don't know, man. Mystic doesn't even have a magic damage bonus. And against Zulrah was the calculation. Absolutely train your stats if you are mid game, early, late game. Like, we don't really tend to think about it, or at least I don't, because like I haven't trained a melee stat in forever on my
I
main
have.
account. Like I've AFK trained on my iron, but I haven't like focused on it, I guess. Like, like I've been max combat on my main for such a long time that like I don't even think about it anymore. And if you're at the point where like, oh, I want to get prayer levels, like that's really the only thing I have left to get. If you want to buy a couple prayer levels, go for it. The higher your prayer level is, the more prayer points you get back from prayer restoring potions, like prayer pots and
Mhm.
super restores and all that. I believe
There's levels. So
yeah.
go on the wiki and look because like if you're 81, but then the next tier is 82, definitely get it. But like if you're
Yeah.
81 and the next tier is not till like 87 or whatever, I know it's not going to be, but that's an extreme example. Might not be worth it for that one extra, but if you're close, look it up and see.
Yeah. It's those kind of things are always big. So
I was
yeah.
doing the math, not really the math, but like on the wiki, it has the table that shows you what your max hit with like a regular trident would be, depending on your magic level. And it's staggeringly different. Like 5 DPS, 5 extra DPS going from 90 to 99 magic, which I'm gonna kind of retcon my last statement of if you have 70 mil and you just bought Virtus Top, which is only a 1% difference with normal spells than and like an Arums. That 70 mil is better spent getting Augury and as many runes as you can get and just camp your ass at the Monkey Madness
I was just about to
Monkey
say
Madness
I
monkeys.
wouldn't gonna step on your toes, but if you're on my team, you're not doing that shit. You're getting runes.
Yeah, buy runes and get to that next tier, whatever it is with the trident. And if you can get to 99, the quality of life from having the magic cape, those 5 spellbook swaps a day, you're going to go through all 5 of them probably within the course of the day if you're doing bingo correctly. But just having them normally, not having to go and make the altar in your house if you don't have that, like it's huge. I don't think I'm anywhere close to where like it would make a big difference for me to go and buy thousands and thousands of runes on my iron to get to 99 because I'm 96 right now, almost 97. So as a main account, there's literally no excuse at this point. You have time. I think you can get 3 maybe 2 to 300k XP per hour. So you're
Yeah.
looking at
And again, I'm
not
not
that
trying to
long.
say like you guys have to get 99 to be or like to be effective in bingo. That's not the point, right? The point is like making Ooh, Quetzin, nice. Left GF for XP, our resident soon to be top 250 player just got Quetzin, which is Pog. And then I was also at a maxing party for the first several parts of the episode. 99 come maxed mid episode. So we'll talk about that here very soon. But yeah, like if you're at that, like, oh, dude, I got 3 million from 96 to 99. You don't have to get 99, dude. Just like chunk it away, make progress. Like again, this is mainly for the people in that like 70, 80, high 80 range, as opposed to like and if you're motivated to do it, like there's nothing wrong with it. You know, like I think Soggy said Jack and I busted out 82 attack for Fang before skill tree bingo last year, and that was hype as hell. And it was hype as hell because we were able to give Soggy a Fang. Jack's an Ironman, so he didn't get one. But like we were able to give Soggy a Fang, and it is like that right there is immensely helpful. That because yes, the Fang is not going to hit as hard with 82 attack and strength as it will with 99 attack and strength.
But you can wield it.
Getting to that threshold to the point where you can wield it, TOA becomes so much nicer with a Fang, dude. Telling you, with a whip and a Karis, it's horrible. But
I'm gonna blow your mind. If you haven't played RuneScape in the last like year, a Fang is mid game at this point. It's 12 mil. Anybody in the mid game can afford a 12 mil Fang. I guarantee you, you can afford it. They're gone are the days where Fangs are like 60 mil, 50 mil, whatever. Once it got nerfed after the scythe, it's viable and it's still good. Listen, day one buyer, week one buyer, you knew what you were doing. It was cracked for a long time. So like it was worth it.
This
that
thing
thing
has
made you
basically
more.
This thing is basically a lightsaber in RuneScape, and we're like, dude, this thing's gonna be like the second most expensive item. And then they made it so common that it gets shit out in level 0 invocation raids. Yeah, we did not expect it to plummet that much. Like I knew I was gonna lose money. I didn't think I was gonna lose 240 mil off my first investment of the thing.
No, dude, you've made more. Like you've had several shadow splits, and I guarantee you use that Fang within
just
TOA.
the one shadow.
Have you not had more than one?
No, TOA stinky, Michael.
More than one T-bow split? Question mark.
No, I think it's only been one T-bow. Actually,
it was a duo T-bow.
It was a duo T-bow with Russ, and we each walked away with like 800 mil last bingo. It was actually pretty fucking crazy. But
well, dude, you've made your money back.
I don't take a Fang to chambers, anyways. Speaking of mega weapons, and I do want to talk about mega weapons here. This is for my end game players. If you are
mid-game people, listen up though.
Sure, go ahead and listen up. But like, if you are like, oh, I just got my Bofa, this is probably not going to apply to you super well. This is for my end game players who do not yet have everything. I want to talk about rebuilds during bingo, right? I have done both. I have gone through a bingo knowing that I'm going to rebuild at the very end of it. That's how I did my T-bow. And I have also gone through a rebuild, or I have also gone through a bingo where I just did a rebuild and was like basically naked with a shadow. I would consult with your team about their skill sets and about their confidence and about your confidence, because the gear of your itself that you're going to get, right? Let's say you go to upgrade from Bofa to T-bow, right? Oftentimes the gear there is not going to matter. Like Missouri makes a nice difference with T-bow, sure, but you know, like going from like Zarite Van Braces to Barrows gloves, not that big of a deal. Your backpack is untradeable. Going from pegs to D-hide, that's fine. Even if you don't have D-hide and you wear, you know, Carol's or Huaycodal or God D-hide, whatever it is, it's really not that big of a deal on the armor side of it. Where it does become a bit of a bigger deal, a bit of a more niche issue, is the secondary niche items. That's why I say consult with your team, because what's going to end up happening if you're doing a rebuild is more than likely you're going to be selling things like Dragon Claws, Void Wakers, Dragon Hunter Lances, your crossbow, your Saturated Heart, like things like that, where you're not taking them into battle with you all the time, and it's a good chunk of money laying around to sell for a rebuild. Um, I would talk with your team and figure it out, right? Because if everybody has claws, it's not going to be that big of a deal. If you're the only one and you kind of want to keep them and you don't want to rebuild yet, that's also fine. I will give the caveat that I own all three and I have done content in the worst possible gear with all three mega weapons. It does not matter. It does not matter. I was rocking a T-bow with I did the Inferno during skill tree bingo with a Slayer helmet, Bless D-hide, everything. Bless D-hide, top bottom boots, backpack, and Barrow's gloves with an anguish. With a T-bow, it was like night and day. Like, granted, I was on task and it did feel a little bit better, but the T-bow, the power level cannot be understated. The power level of the shadow cannot be understated, right? The scythe is a little bit different only because the scythe isn't as useful everywhere, which like the same can be said for the T-bow. But like where the scythe is useful, the scythe exceeds like everything. Like Huecotal came out and everyone was like, "Oh, well, you want to hit it with multi-hit weapons and like crush is best and all that, but like the maracas are going up and the cudgels and the lances." I'm like, "Okay, cool. So scythe is best in slot." And they're like, "Well, yeah." I'm like, "Okay, cool. That's all I needed to hear was scythe stays winning. That's all I need to hear." Like where scythe is good, scythe excels above everything else. Same with T-bow. Shadow is a different animal. Shadow, if it can be hit by magic, Shadow's like, if it can bleed, it can die. If it can be hit by magic, Shadow is best in slot, usually, right?
I did want to challenge that thought real quick because you said if you have the mega weapon, the gear you're wearing doesn't matter. But doesn't it? It does matter with the shadow, right? Because doesn't the shadow just double the
Yes,
magic
the
damage?
shadow that would I guess be like the maybe only exception with a shadow rebuild is because like it does I believe it doubles it outside of TOA and then triples it inside of TOA, or maybe quadruples it inside TOA. I don't remember. Maybe it triples it
It's
outside and quadruples
bad.
inside. I think does it triple it outside, you guys? I don't
Let me
remember
look.
what the shadow does. But yes, having gear like for that piece of the shadow does make a huge difference. But kind of like we talked about earlier, right? It's unique with the shadow because on the one hand, the difference between Ancestral and Virtus, the full set's like what, 6%, right? It goes from like 6 to 18%. It's pretty significant. A lot of people do Virtus Shadow. Like, that's one thing that I want you guys to understand about this kind of DPS thing that we're talking about, specifically with the Shadow, right? The Shadow isn't a bad weapon if you don't have Ancestral. The Shadow doesn't suddenly suck if you don't have max everything. It's not at its full potential, but you're talking a weapon that consistently fucking clobbers enemies. Like, you may not have your potential of like, I think the max hit of a shadow is like a 60 something when you're 99 with a heart and all that shit. Like, it's pretty crazy with max everything. It may not be at that level, but to just absolutely abuse enemies hitting 40, 40, 40, 40, 40 all the time, like that is holy shit. That power cannot be understated. And if you are considering a mega weapon rebuild before bingo, having done both one during and after, I recommend doing it. Consult with your team, and like if they don't think you should do it, maybe don't, right? Because you might be the only person with the Slayer level to kill Cerberus, and you might need your Spectral, right?
Mm.
That
If
kind of thing.
Cerberus is on the board.
If Cerberus is on the board, I'm saying that because like in King of the Hill, I drafted a team of gamers, and there were two people who could do Cerberus. We had a guy in our team with like 400 Top KC, an Infernal Cape. He was a Giga gamer. And I swear to God, he had 17 Slayer. Couldn't help us out at all. It was just Tiki and I having to do Slayer. But I would go with the Mega Weapon. I really would. Given the choice of would I do it again, how would I do it differently? I can't even. I don't know, dude. Otis said, should I spend that time upgrading and prepping? Should I do the quest to kill Zulrah? I've never done Zulrah, and I'm sure there's going to be someone more efficient and experienced on my team. Should I spend the time to upgrading and preparing? Yes. This kind of brings it back to what we talked about earlier, right? doing content, having it available is beneficial for your team. When I first did my first ever bingo, people think my first ever bingo was Fall Bingo 2020. It actually wasn't. My first ever bingo, and I think I've talked about it before, was with a streamer called Nightnator. And I did a bingo in her community with some buddies. Well, I didn't have any buddies in that community, but I made friends. One of which is actually now in the clan, which I think is fantastic. Like we were on a bingo team so many years ago, and now she's in the clan. Like, love it. But years ago, during that bingo, I was the last pick, I'm pretty sure. If I wasn't last, I was second to last. But I remember before that bingo started, I killed Zulrah for the first time. And I remember that board came down for us. It came down to a Nightmare Unique. 5x5 board, it came down to a Nightmare Unique or a Mutagen as a bonus tile. First come, first serve, Mutagen bonus tile. And I told my team, I said, here's the deal. I can't afford a bludgeon. I could bring a Sarachnis Cudgel to mass Nightmare, or I could try to throw myself at Zulrah. But I have like 1 KC, and Zulrah's still really hard. And they were like, you could just hang out in VC. Like, you don't have to even bother trying, because I wasn't going to get a Mutagen back then. Have it done. So the option is on the table for the team. Zulrah does take time to learn, to Otis's point. Every piece of content takes time to learn. You can learn it if you have it unlocked. Myself, Michael, any other captain whose team you get put on, we can't teach you how to do the content if you can't get there. So
true.
Do the quest.
That's what I was going to tell Otis earlier, because he was like, should I be doing Beneath Cursed Sands this week? I'm like, in my head, I was like, if you don't have the opportunity to get there, there's not even the opportunity for you to learn. We can't drag you through a TOA all bloody at the end if you don't have the quest to even enter the pyramid. So yes, if your question is, should I prepare to do any sort of content that could show up on the board, the answer is always going to be yes. D4 Drake said, I think one of the best strats in bingo is to focus on the hardest content for your skill level. And I added the caveat, and I said, and with that, don't be ashamed if that's just simply barrows. If the hardest content that you can do on your account is something like Sarachnis Scurious Barrows, a mid-game boss, don't be ashamed, because as we've seen from past bingos, there are tiles like that. Even not even just in TNL bingos, but like in other events, like you could be doing a mid-game boss of the week, and your hardest thing to do is to consistently do barrows efficiently, or maybe you struggle with like more than 2 kills at Sarachnis per trip. That's fine. You're not going to be getting infinite trips all of the time. I still, even on my main account, I don't think I can get more than like maybe 5 or 6, because that spider just slaps. So
Sarachnis beat when I first learned Sarachnis, dude, that beat the shit out of me. Like, now it's not a big thing. Now I just like bring Carols and a Blood Fury and spend more money than I make, and I can sit there for like 30 kills at a time. But when I first started doing it, dude, Sarachnis beats the piss out of you. Those minions are so goddamn disrespectful. Sarachnis will beat you like a redheaded stepchild if you are low level. High level, Sarachnis doesn't do that. Train your stats. But low level, she does. She's mean as hell at low level.
Have you done Sarachnis yet with the Urania boots?
I haven't done Sarachnis since the Ring of Stone tech was best in this last one, no.
Okay, Ring of Stone makes Sarachnis a joke, right? Urania boots makes it a freaking circus. It is so hilariously easy. I legitimately, on my Ironman, I walked away from my computer while killing Sarachnis and still killed her. It is ridiculously easy with the Urania boots, because there's not that awkward delay. You're basically just attacking Sarachnis the entire time, because the webs don't stop you at all. There's no webs that get shot out if you're wearing the boots. So get the Urania boots. That's another piece of gear upgrade that I would say, if you're if you haven't played the game in a while, the Urania boots, they can be a little expensive. I think they're like 8 mil currently, but they work as a good tri-braid boot if you're not rocking like the best in slot boots anyway. They basically combine like dragon hide boots, mystic boots, and dragon boots. So good all around. I use them for raids. I use them for everything. They're my go-to, always on my feet boot, and they slap it so that's Arachnus. So definitely a good tag.
Hell yeah.
Another thing that I wanted to mention with this conversation where we're talking about, so I mentioned D4 Drake saying like, do the hardest thing that you can do. And then Otis in the recording booth says, I've always thought the opposite because I can only kill Arachnus one time per kill, whereas somebody else could just camp it. And to that, I would say like the biggest factor in that statement not being true is RNG. When you think about it, everybody has the chance to just be spooned, right?
Just get it on the first drop.
You could, that's the joke, but like I'm being serious. Like your RNG is different than somebody else's. The person who is camping it for hundreds and hundreds of kills a day, their account could just be the account that goes thousands and thousands dry. But you, the person who gets 1 kill trips, your account could be the account that's spooned. So like you never know. Like you could get, I got my first Arachnus cudgel ever at 3KC. And I think there are people in our clan who have thousands without. Dean, he just posted a screenshot. Dean is 1000 KC at Arachnus with no uniques. 1,000. I went 3 kills and got it. So RNG plays a big role in anybody being a viable person in a bingo. You could go and get your first ever Zulrah kill for the diary during bingo and get a mutagen. It's not outside of the realm of possibilities. Highly unlikely. Like, don't bank on it, but it still could happen. I got a 1KC Bloodhound pet. So
what I'm going to add to that to make it less fantastical and more grounded, right?
No, don't do that.
You hold on.
Just leave it
you
fantastical.
could literally get it on the first drop.
Leave it fantastical. Let people
get
dream.
it on the first drop. You could get it on the first drop. That is possible. But that's very hard to account for. And as someone who's planned so many of these goddamn events, you cannot plan for that, right? What I will say, 2 things. Number one, if you as a player are like, well, what's the point of me doing content that I don't know how to do? Then what's the point of signing up for bingo? That's my question. What's the point of signing up for bingo if we're going to sit in our comfort zone the entire time? Because if the logic is somebody else can do it better, I can do everything better than a mid-game player can. Like, oh, I'm really good at Barrows. Yeah, I take a Shadow to Barrows. I'm really good at Arachnus. I take a Scythe and a Blood Fury and Dragon Claws and a Void Waker and Thralls. I beat the shit out of Arachnus compared to any mid-game player. If that's the logic, why sign up for bingo? Right? Because that level of like somebody can do it better. Somebody can do it better than me, right? I can outplay any mid-game player at any of these bosses, and there are still people who can do it better than I can. Bingo is to have fun with the people on your team and expand your horizons of what you're capable of doing in game. That's how I always look at it. But if you want a more grounded answer, right? Hours win bingos. Man hours win bingos. When we're talking man hours for bingo, we look at tiles like, let's say we have like get a mutagen, right? Getting a mutagen is not a random occurrence. Getting a mutagen has, I think the drop rate's like 1 in 6, 1 in 3,000 ish to roll any mutagen. 1 in 6 to 8,000 for a specific one. But we can calculate that. Let's say you want to get any mutagen, it's about 1 in 3,500 or so. We can calculate that you get about, I don't know, at the absolute maximum efficiency, 40 Zulrah kills per hour, right? Even then, that seems fast. Maybe more, maybe less. 40 an hour divided by 3,500, you have the number of man hours right there on average needed to get the drop. So if everyone goes on average and nobody gets spooned, because we can't calculate people going spooned, we can't calculate people going dry. We can calculate the average. If you can only put in an hour worth of Zulrah for the week, because you can only get 40 kills before your supplies are drained and you already have a hole in your wall from slamming your head into it so hard because you're only able to kill 20 or 30, 40 Zulrah, you are still contributing to the total hours needed to hit that average. Doing the bare minimum on a difficult tile is always better than not even bothering, right? There are some things where if you are a mid-game Iron Man, you are probably not going to be as helpful in a CM. You're probably not going to be as helpful in a hard mode. You're probably not going to be as helpful at the Coliseum. But pretty much everything else you'll be able to contribute to. So if you're out there and you have like, and I'm not just calling out Otis, right? Like I'm trying to, this is more for the lower end of player skill, I guess, like the bottom third of people we would have sign up skill wise and all that. Like, please go ahead and play. Please feel underprepared and learn a bunch of new things and learn new tactics and get to know people who are better than you in ways that you can't conceive, because you will get to that point. Ask me how I know. I was the last or second to last pick in this streamer's bingo. I did not have Zulrah killed when I did when I got drafted. Absolute garbage dog shit gear. I got taken to God Wars. I got taken to all sorts of content for the first time by players who were way, way better than me. Now I've exceeded some of those players in things I've done, in total level, in accomplishments, all that. Like, but it truly just goes to show that like you will learn as a low level player, because I can tell you, I know all the captains. If I don't know them directly, I know who they are well enough to know that they're not going to be pieces of shit about it. If they are, let me know. And I'm going to start swinging on somebody like Fear just for fun. But if you're not confident, do it anyways, if that makes sense.
Makes total sense. And I will be doing it my way through bingo, because this will be the first time I'm not like on an absolutely cracked account. Like I don't have a private server account. I have my mid-game Iron Man.
You want a potentially controversial opinion?
Why don't you DM it to me first and we'll talk about it. I'm just kidding. Yeah. What is it?
Your Iron Man is way better than your main ever was. 100%. Because by this time last bingo, yeah, you had access to a lot more money, but you didn't have any of the skill set.
That's true.
You didn't have any of the skill. You weren't comfortable running head. You weren't comfortable in the gauntlet. You're still not super comfortable in TOA, but like you did not have any confidence in PVM. So you may have had gear to like look like you fit in at TOA and at Chambers, but you were not there. You look like an Iron Man in a lot of ways, but you now know how to play the game well enough where, like, as you have seen, it doesn't matter. You don't have best in slot other than the absolutely fucking spooned ancestral robe top that popped up that one day. That shit was crazy. Other than that, you don't have best in slot anything, and you're still more prepared to do raids than you were on your main. So you may have be private server in the sense of like unlimited supplies and teleports and shit like that, but like no, you're better off on your Iron than you ever were on your main PVM wise.
Damn. So maybe I would have more fun on my main. I probably wouldn't.
No, you wouldn't.
At this point in my life,
you'd get a Tebow on your main and like never want to log in again.
I'd probably cry. Actually,
you'd be
because
pretty,
it would be like
pretty sad.
It'd be like another 400 mil or something. I'm like, wow, 400 million coins that I don't care about. Versus
if you guys didn't know, Michael's an Iron Man. Just as a reminder.
I think I am an Iron Man. Like I don't know. I just think like an Iron Man at this point, and it's okay. It's okay. This is what the show needed. We needed some balance. Oxie is the elitist main. I am the grounded and completely sane Iron Man who's not elitist at all. That's the best combination though, right? Like not elitist and Iron Man. So then I don't care about money and I don't care about making money. It's the best way to play this game in my situation. Maybe one day I'll care about money, but today is not that day. And I don't know what shifted.
You have fun with that. How are you feeling about a break? Do you think we've covered all of our major topics? Do you think I've hit all our bases for bingo prep?
I think we have. And I hope that we have satisfied the other two groups. I hope this
Yeah.
wasn't just like, I'm not playing bingo, so I don't care about this episode. Like, the thing that I wanted to convey is if you've not played the game in a while, spend some time in a clan, whether it's TNL or not, it doesn't really matter, but spend some time talking to other folks who have continued to play. Maybe do a bank stream in Discord or something and be like, hey guys, this is what I'm working with. What are your suggestions? Because people love to give their opinion, solicited or unsolicited. So if you have questions, ask. We have a wonderful Discord that Oxie will be, plugging in a little bit. But we always have people in VC. We always have people monitoring the channels, ready to answer questions. We're gonna have a boss tutor program sometime after bingo, maybe after leagues, who knows? And just join a community, whether it's TNL or not. Like I said, join a community of people and learn, because there's so many things that change within this game. If you even take a month off, sometimes metas can change to the point where it's not that you're not going to have fun, but you may just have a better time. You may have more fun if you know what the current state of the game is like. So even if you've taken a couple of weeks, a couple of months, and you just like totally forgot about RuneScape and then you're back, just, ask somebody what's going on. Get a good catch up. But that's going to do it for this part of the episode. After this wonderful commercial break, we're going to come back and we're going to talk more about fun things. We're going to have some community focused content. So stick around and we'll see you after this.
All right, Legatus, what have you got for me?
What's up, folks? It's your boy, the Ancient Explorer, and today I got something special for you guys. You guys have heard me talk about the fabled Gorok prison for so long. I think we might finally be here. I know it sounds crazy, but you guys just gotta bear with me. You guys, holy shit. I think this is actually it. I think this is actually the Gorok prison. Oh my god, no way. Oh my god, you guys, look at this place. This is beautiful. Oh my god, it's so spooky in here. Hello! Oh my god, this is great. Whoa! Ooh, would not want to drop the camera. It's so hard to find any legitimate accounts about this place, but from what I've heard, they used to keep refugees here in like the Third Age. And like, clearly, whoever they were keeping here was probably not having a great time. Like, it's very much still a prison. Okay, you guys, I'm kind of freaking out. I'm gonna put an image on screen for you guys right now. This is basically what I'm looking at here on top of this altar, and I have only ever seen this symbol once before. Do you guys remember way back when we snuck into the dig site? Yeah, this was the same symbol that was on the ground. I always heard about this prison. I didn't know this place was Zaroshian. Oh my god. Okay, wow, this is insane. Alright guys, we gotta see what else is here. Chat, you guys have got to see this. I'm gonna get into this door, right? And I'm gonna bring out what I think might be the freakiest thing I've ever seen. Damn it. Nope, almost. Damn it. Okay, one more time. Okay. Nope, son of a... Okay. Alright, you guys, I don't think I'm getting this door open, so I'm just gonna show you what I can see through the gates. Are you guys seeing this right now, chat? That is definitely one of those slug things. Oh my god. This place is so spooky, dude. What was that? Okay. What the fuck? What the fuck? Oh my god. What the fuck was that? What was that? Do you guys see that? What the fuck was that thing? Oh my god. Okay, you guys. I think this thing is right outside. We gotta get out of here, chat. We gotta get out of here. Oh, this was such a mistake. Oh my god, this was such a bad idea. Alright guys, we're in a new part of the prison. I think we lost that thing. I got a good feeling that that door right there is a way out. So let's get the hell out of here. Honestly, I know I always tell you guys to go out and explore, but this was a mistake. I should not be here. Oh my god.
By the Empire. Private. Yes, sir. Summon the General. I would like to have a word with him about this security oversight. Of course, sir.
Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that spooky Halloween commercial. As a reminder for record editing, Michael. I know what I sure did. Anyway, welcome back. Now is the part of the show where we're going to dedicate some time to the people who fill my heart with joy and gladness, and who fill our pockets with money. It's our patrons.
That's such a holy shit. That's a horrible way to word that. That's
you
like
guys know I'm kidding.
Ebenezer Scrooge looking at us.
I'm
Oh my
kidding.
god.
I'm kidding.
I mean, objectively, he's not. You do pay us to be a part of the Patreon. It's just, oh my god, brother.
It's like whenever we talk about money, it's already cringe. So then I make it more cringe as a way to make it less cringe and more jokey. That's usually my tactic. And
His master class in stand-up comedy is coming next month, boys.
Yeah. It's like stand-up comedy, and what was the other one? Doing math.
A master class in doing math. I think it's just called going to college. But.
No, guys. Like divine super combats are like 25 mil an hour.
We thought they were. There's a period of time we thought they were.
Anyway, it is now time to shout out our patrons, specifically the Wise Old Man patrons. This week we have 2 new Wise Old Man patrons. Big shout out and thank you to Buddy Time and the Next Bot, aka Ryan, for your patronage to the Xpwaste Patreon. Welcome back to the Next Bot, by the way. It's been a while. He's a returning
84
patron.
years.
It's been 84 years. It's good to have you back. Ryan is an OG, I would say, like pre-2022. I think he's there. He's been there for a while, but hasn't been here for a while, and now he's back. Hopefully for a while. Anyway, on the screen now is our current Wise Old Man patron. Thank you so much, everyone. You guys are amazing. One notable thing that you get in the Wise Old Man tier is access to the recording booth. So if this was like you just started listening to Xpwaste, you heard us reference the recording booth a lot in this episode. And think of it like if you were watching a stream and you were part of that chat, but it was a very exclusive stream, like only the people who were watching it could chat, not just anybody. Anyway, that's how a stream works. But anyway, this is the recording stream chat. They get to interact with us live while we're recording the episode, and we talk to them, and they talk to us, and they can listen to us. And I don't know, Oxie and I fought a little bit in the break, and they got to hear.
Mom and Dad did have a bit of a scuffle during the break.
You know, it's okay. We'll kiss later. Yeah. It's all right. But okay, anyway, that's our Wise Old Man tier. Thank you guys. Moving on now to our KBD. That's King Black Dragon. For anybody who didn't know, the KBD tier of folks who are just like a little bit better than the Wise Old Man.
God,
I'm not trying to make a competition, but they are just a little bit better. Ever so slightly. Because they get a shout out by name, not just a picture on the screen. And like we're going to do every single week, we're going to start at the top and give a big shout out and a thank you to Apathy, Boston Sport 5, Brian M, Brooks 70, Oxie's dad, hi dad, our dad, all of our dad, Cloud Kicker, Dickie Bird, Elite Oreo Dunker, Jack's Superior GIM, Oxie's personal demonic toy 666.
Hey, yo.
Potato Cleric. I see that Chaos Cleric has not joined the booth today and updated his name. Our third favorite Patreon supporter, Ralph, Run Metal 15, Rylithian, Soggy Waffles, Seppi J, Sparky Life, the Big G Jordy, the number Tiki, what do they mean?
Numbers, Tiki. What do they mean?
That's swole.
And
And
that has
War
to be
Patron.
swole.
It is. And War Patroning. Thank you again to our slightly better than the wise old man KBD patrons. You guys have our hearts. And we love you so much. Muchos muchos to all of you. It's all a joke, by the way. I don't mean that. Everybody is amazing. You guys rock our socks. If you want to join all of these folks, all of these wonderful folks in supporting our Patreon, you can do so by heading over to patreon.com/Xpwaste, where you'll find 4 distinct tiers, all with really cool things to offer. If that sounds like something you want to do, head on over and pick a tier that fits your interests. So that is the Patreon. I'll stop being awkward and move on now to our community question for this week. So it's actually 2 weeks ago. We asked you a very specific question.
Before we get into the responses,
about,
there's one response that we got on the episode with Potato Heme that I'm going to pull up on my phone right now. We got it, and I actually thought it was so funny. I wanted to shout it out especially.
Is it Lay
Posted. No, it wasn't Lay Slayer. No. I am telling. Somebody posted something. I don't know if it was this episode or the last one, but I saw it pop up on my phone, and it was like somebody mentioned it was like 112 attempts just to buy the cape or something like that. I don't know who said it, but somebody.
Lay Slayer. They said 112 attempts to buy an Infernal cape is.
Oh, he's
crazy.
the one that was Lay Slayer's comment.
Yeah.
112 attempts to buy an Infernal cape is crazy. That comment made me laugh out loud when I got that one going in. I'm so glad that one got published because that's pretty funny.
Yeah.
That was all I had, though. You can get back to your regularly scheduled programming there.
So we did an episode 2 weeks ago about what the state of the game could look like within the next 10 years. And we asked you guys for your opinions of like, what would OSRs look like in a decade? We got some responses, and I'm going to read them now. Starting on Spotify, Boards says, in 10 years' time, sailing will be out for beta. Give Castle Wars a revamp with a pet chance, and make Castle Wars a minigame similar to AoE, where you farm herbs, make pots, and set up defenses. Then you have a massive battle. Whichever team wins gets XP towards a certain skill with a chance of a pet every reward point spent. That would be cool. Honestly, if they just like took Castle Wars and made Castle Wars 2, but like brought it up to speed with like old school mechanics or like not old school mechanics, but like some more advanced mechanics and a more interesting reward system, I think that would be great.
Like if they kind of like centralized it brought it up like to par, with all the other ones.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Next up, Ryan says, I think they'll keep chipping away at the stuff we don't vote on until vote ends up being pretty much meaningless, and we're just getting whatever they, parentheses corporate Jagex, not the game-loving devs, want in the game. It'll kill the nostalgia for people, and eventually we'll have to re-release something like 2024 Escape as a reboot before, but not all the way back to 07 again. Damn. I think that is a slight flaw of the voting system, is that like they could just keep throwing things at people and kind of brute forcing a yes, especially if it's close. I hope that doesn't happen. I hope that we still get some sort of say and the voting continues to matter, but who knows? Damnation says, I fear microtransactions cometh. Ugh. Don't want that. Daniel H says, I love the idea of the prestiging, and I think it will keep players interested in playing if done right. I remember in 2009 grinding with my friends on Modern Warfare 2 to get all the titles and the emblems. I think something similar could be applied with RuneScape, maybe with a bit of a buff after each or every other prestige. That's what I was thinking whenever we were talking about prestige. It's like you can get to 99 whatever, and then you prestige. And then maybe it's like you have 0.5% boosted XP And then the next time it's like 1% boosted. And every time you prestige, it goes up. And then maybe at a certain point when you did prestige, after your 3rd or 5th prestige or whatever, maybe you get a cool
Could be fun.
title. Yeah.
Could be fun.
Just makes it more worth doing it over versus just saying like you did it for the heck of it. Large Farvis says, it's the year 2034. Games would have changed to PvP only. The only players left are podcasters and streamers who fight to the death over territories in Gielinor. The casual players and the listeners / viewers of RuneScape podcasts and streams are now only able to bet on and choose sides over their favorite content creators, where Jagex takes a 50% cut on bets, profiting them more money. He says, JK, I have no idea, but sailing sounds cool.
Could be fun.
Could be fun because we would probably be included. But I don't know. I'm not a big gambler person. I'm not big into gambling. Next up, Papa Smurf says, I have 4 items on my Osrs 2034 wish list. Number 1, maintain its classic visual style in future platforms like VR. Number 2, the economy evolves to better handle inflation. Number 3, preserve the nostalgic core that brought us all here. And number 4, no microtransactions. And that one was in all caps. I agree with all of those. No notes. Otis says, IMO, I see Jagex raising membership higher and higher through the years. And as a community, we finally put our foot down and refuse to pay for one account. Jagex will be forced to allow 1 membership, but not unlimited. But it'd be like for 2 to 4 accounts. And I'd be happy with 2. No way Jagex allows unlimited accounts on 1 membership.
Is that what World of Warcraft does?
I don't know if it's unlimited, but you definitely can pay
cap,
one.
But I know it's 1 membership per account for sure.
Yeah, it's more than 1, but less than unlimited. So, next up, Swole says, I reckon it'll be all fuzzy and hard to see, or maybe that'll be because I refuse to let the dentist test my eyes and tell me that I need glasses. I'm gonna play this game with a seeing eye dog and a cane. I love Swole so much.
I don't want to be culturally insensitive. Why the hell are you going to a dentist for eye stuff?
So good.
I don't know, man.
So good. Dinosaur says, I think they're absolutely going to take another run at prayers within the next 10 years. Surely, right? I think they need to go the RS3 route and rip off the Band-Aid and just make these prayers straight upgrades from the standard prayers. They tried to side grade with Ruinous prayers and couldn't quite get it right. Just do it, man. Just give us Turmoil, Torment, and Anguish in OSRS, a straight up superior prayer book from a huge quest. I think it's inevitable at this point. As somebody who does not know any of those prayers, no comment. But I do like the idea of sometimes just ripping off the Band-Aid and getting like power creep and just giving us a better option than we have now, and just hoping that it works out, because that's all you can do really. Is like, if you rip the Band-Aid off, it's usually not because you are confident with the outcome, or else it wouldn't be called ripping the Band-Aid. Finally, on Spotify, Ketone says, multiple new skills, including a summoning-esque skill that breaks all of the skilling metas at the same time.
Hell,
a new boss encounter.
I don't know why I didn't think of that. I don't know why I didn't think of that one. Holy shit.
Let's go. A new boss encounter that is exponentially harder than the Inferno, but realistically, maybe sailing gets finished. Can you imagine exponentially harder than Inferno? Didn't they say they're never going to do anything harder than Inferno, or is it nothing harder than Tob? Hard mode Tob. Can't remember.
I think it was nothing at its base level more difficult than Tob but that was years ago though, so who knows? There could be something in the future that is far exceeding in difficulty of Theater of Blood, but who knows?
Who knows? That's it for Spotify. Moving on over to YouTube. Spencer says, we'll be in Sailing Phase 3. Open beta coming soon for Old School RuneScape's first new skill. You guys are so cynical about sailing. 10 years and we're only in open beta. Next up, Austin says the same, but with 12 new bosses and a desert expansion. Menafos, possibly? I'm excited for the desert expansion. It's like one of the once Varlamore's done, it's basically just the desert that needs to be finished. I think that's the last area that we can't see. I don't have my game open right now,
That's
but
gonna be a pretty crazy, like finally having all the black squares in the map gone, like forever. That's gonna be pretty crazy.
Until they add more.
Well, like when like they'll expand it, right? But they're not gonna put like a big chunk of like unfinished map. You know, like Varlamore in the desert, the black squares are just like in the middle of the map. The void is just there, you know? I'm very excited to see what that looks like going forward.
It's gonna be hype. Saint Sheba says, depending on the tools available to private server owners, we could see Jagex taking community-created content from Xenera servers and implementing it into the game, boosting the rate of content added to the game dramatically. I like the prestige skill idea. I think to solve the 200 mil XP dilemma, you could reset to level 1, but keep the 13 mil XP per 13 mil plus XP on the high scores. So by the second time you hit 99, you're now 26 mil XP and so on. Huh.
That could be good.
Yeah. Vamp says simply life support. The game will be on life support in the next decade. That's a good outlook. Not really. Melvin Man, aka Air Quotes, says the year is 2035. You get home from work and jump into your virtual reality haptic gaming suit with 5 sense simulation technology. You log into OSRS and run some TOA with the boys. Other than the unbearably realistic stench of Kefri's dung attack, you have a great time. Next, you decide to grind out some Kree. Your ears are bleeding after 25 KC, but you get the Armor Chain skirt drop thanks to the drop rate boost you purchased for only $8. Now, it's 3 a.m., just in time to engage with the monthly Wilderness Wrathmaw spawn. But you get PK'd by Michael, who still does not have his quest cape since he has not completed Desert Treasure 6. Frustrated, you pull out your credit card and finally earn your pay-to-win-ferno cape.
Pay to win Furno is actually a pretty fire name. I'm not gonna lie. Pay to win Furno is good. That's you got me there. Pay to win Furno is pretty good.
That's like, dude, like that's the perfect day. Honestly, realistic.
Oxie's bingo team name. Hold on, that's a heater bingo team.
Ooh.
Name. Pay to win Furno.
Ooh. Okay, Melvin Man, you're cooking. You're cooking. Next up, Looney TNT says every skill will have a minigame, and VR OSRS will be a thing. So many people, and we're not even done, but so many people have said OSRS and VR. Like, I don't know how that would work.
Could be fun.
A first-person experience in a very third-person game. I can't see it translating, but who knows? And finally, on YouTube, under the reply section, Kevin says, "Not sure how this would work, but given current storylines, Song of the Elves, etc., do we think they'd have us play different races? I would almost rather they offer the ability to reskin yourself as an endgame reward than have any real in-game significance.
Could be fun.
It could be fun. Could
be fun.
I would love that actually. I would love that. I think even like in-game differences, we've talked about it as a fun question, but they could theory craft up something cool. And it may not come from like them putting it in OSRS, but it could come from like another game that they do in the world of Gilinar where you get to choose a race and play as a dwarf, and like you have an automatic buff to your artisan skills or something. Or if you play with an elf, you have a buff to your dexterity type skills. Because that's normal D&D stuff, you know? That's going to do it for the fun question. Thank you so much to everyone who answered last week's question, or 2 weeks ago, rather. If you want to answer this week's question, it will be, what are you doing to prep for bingo?
Oh, that's a good one.
Let us know. By the time this episode comes out, we'll have about a week-ish until bingo starts. So we're excited to see what you guys are going to do. So,
yeah. Oh, I can't wait.
It's going to be good. That's going to do it for the community question. Throwing it on over to Oxie now for the achievables of the weekables.
All right, folks, it is time for Achievement of the Week. Unsurprisingly, we have a pretty thick Achievement of the Week because we are 2 weeks off. So I'm going to stop trying to play 2 accounts at the exact same time, and I'm just going to read Achievement of the Week for you guys. So, kicking us off in the miscellaneous category, we got some quest capes this week. The Scarlet Walrus and their brother both got quest capes this week. They got them at the same time. Dahunkski, Doubles, and Steve's Rat also all got their quest capes this week. Fizzman15 got his diary cape after several weeks of going for it. And after being requested several times and having it happen a second time, crazily enough, Doom, our resident PKer, scored his second 1.5 billion GP PK. Apparently some guy rushes people all the time. 1.5 bill, like LE, ZCB, full Missouri. There's a big PK. So shout out to you,
like
Doom.
Skill specs or something? Like a famous
I have no idea.
PKer? I'm pretty sure
I dothn't know.
Oh, it wasn't.
But, but he did kill somebody. In the combat achievements section this week, we got 2 new fire capes with Mythheart and Mr. Oak J. We have a lot more first with Min4M3, MYN4M3, Gorley, and Harry X on his Ironman, all killing Zulra for the first time. Walt Kidney completed the gauntlet for the first time. And Jim Cheese, CJ, and Fear No Space Garden all completed the corrupted gauntlet for the first time ever. So congratulations, guys. Moving on now, FFS Sam achieved his quiver these past few weeks. And we got not 1, but we got 2 Infernal Capes. Cursed Nibs and the Taco Daddy. I'm pretty sure Cursed Nibs is a buddy of ours from Raids Bank, and the Taco Daddy, we have been watching his attempts get closer and closer every single time. I think we were in VC with him one day, and he's like, dude, this is absolutely crazy. And I think both myself and Nuke Moose were like, when the nightmares kick in, you're close. He's like, what? I'm like, yeah, when you start to get nightmares about the Inferno, the cape is right around the corner. And he finally got it. I think it took him like 66 attempts or something like that. So half as many as me. Good job, King. You guys can finally play the game. But in the vein of finally being able to play the game, we are going to get into our skilling category, which is thick. Y'all prepare like crazy for bingo. So we are going to go ahead and shout it all out. This isn't even going to be the biggest achievement of the week, because we're going to have achievement of the week after bingo as well, and that one's going to be crazy. But this one, we have quite a few folks to shout out. Kicking us off, we have iFiva achieved 99 firemaking. Dr. Gerbert achieved 99 smithing in the hollowed sepulcher for some reason. W. Laser Sutalu achieved 99 woodcutting and 99 construction. Wukong Rambo achieved 99 hit points. For Vitney achieved 99 HP, attack, strength, defense, and woodcutting on his Ironman account. Get some help, Forv. Radmiral achieved 99 fishing. I Smash Dads achieved his first 99 with 99 hit points. The Grand Ape achieved 99 thieving. Bob Dole achieved 99 woodcutting. My boy Soggy Waffles achieved 99 strength, mage, and range. A TV Dinner achieved 99 firemaking. Punkus achieved 99 strength. T the GIM achieved 99 farming and 99 range. Drenane, I think is how you say that word. Drenane or Drenae. Drenane achieved 99 magic. Dahunkski with his second appearance this week with 99 HP and 99 range. Raccoon achieved 99 herb lore. Puffer Floof achieved 99 farming. Sibling achieved 99 mining, as well as, I believe, 2100 total level. Mountain Man, good old WV Mountain Man, achieved 99 Mage. He's been banned from the Discord. He knows why. White Light West achieved 99 Defense. Captain Crash achieved 99 Range. The Big G Gabe achieved 99 Attack. Corpse Duster achieved 99 Hit Points. Fishy Bun also achieved 99 Hit Points. Oak J achieved 99 Range. Lilywick, one of my former teammates from that janky bingo I played in a couple months ago, achieved 99 Woodcutting at P3 Wardens. I don't know what the hell you guys are doing. Jack did not achieve 99 Strength, but he is banned from the Discord for the same reason Mountain Man is banned, and they both know why they're banned. And the Taco Daddy getting 2 capes in one day with 99 Mage as well. We have some total level achievements to shout out to round us off here. Both Beats by Steve and Dehunksky achieved 2K total level. In addition to Sibling, Shady achieved 2100 total level. And then finally, in the vein of finally being able to play the game, we have 3 Maxcapes this week. 3 people achieved the prestigious 2277 total level. So I would like to offer a huge congratulations, a huge flash to GZ to Group Des or Merce, D4 Drake, and 99 Cum. I was just at 99 Cum's maxing party, as a matter of fact. He just maxed I don't know, like an hour ago, which was pretty fun to see. Everyone were all at the Legends Guild mine. It's always fun to watch people pop off there, or anywhere, really. I was at D4 Drake's party, but I missed it because I was told it was in the Falador teleport area, and I teleported there, and there were a bunch of cannons and no people. So I missed the fireworks, but I was there for the after party, where they had a huge drop party of raw jubbly birds. I don't even know how they got all them jubbly birds, but they dropped a shit ton of them. It was a good time. I wasn't there for Merce's maxing party, unfortunately. I didn't even know it was happening until after the fact, but I am in the thick of it right now on the maxing grind, and to say I envy you would be an understatement. But I also understand now that I'm closer and closer how good it has got to feel to finally be done. You guys are free. You don't have to do any of the skilling content if there's skilling content on this bingo board. You don't have to do any of it when it comes up if you don't want to. Because guess what? You don't have any more XP to gain. Very proud of you, boys. Very proud of all of you if you achieve something awesome this week. We are going to see a lot of achievements. I mean, like a lot coming up here in the next couple of weeks, because the pre-bingo pop-off is real. People really will go kind of crazy for bingo. So that's going to be very exciting. Keep an eye on that here coming up. Yeah. And if you did something awesome and you want me to shout it out, head over to discord.gg/OSRSTNL and you can post it in the levels and achievements chat. Now, we shout out a select few things, right? We shout out like 99s and infernal capes and quest capes and all that. But if you achieved something that wasn't that, if you achieved like base 60s, or you killed a boss for the first time, like you did a quest for the first time, DT2, Dragon Slayer 2, whatever it is, go ahead and tell us about it, because we love to see that kind of stuff. So please go ahead and post about it, and come hang out. We've got bingo coming up, and I know if you guys didn't sign up, we will see you next season. The Discord might feel a little dead in here in the coming weeks because we do have like private categories for bingo, so it doesn't just like spam everybody. But right now, here they are, the Sunday Raiders. They're there. A lot of the Sunday Raiders are actually listening in to our podcast right now in the recording booth chat, but we do have the Sunday Raiders. They are down there. With that, though, folks, that is a wrap on Achievement of the Week, which means it is almost a wrap on this episode. But you all know we can't leave without a fun question. So, Michael, my friend, do you have a fun question for us?
I do. And like old times, this one's actually off the dome.
Oh.
I don't know. Oh, yeah. Well, I like the fun question section, and there's one from Otis, but I don't know. I don't know about that question. Anyway, not that it's bad. I just don't know how to answer it. But this one's off the dome, and I don't know if we asked this question before, but I think it would be very interesting, and it could have some good conversation. But Oxie, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
If you could, you personally delete one item or item set, for better or for worse, from the game, what would it be and why?
One item set.
So I'm thinking like if you want to just, nuke Ancestral, the whole thing, or just a single item like the gnome ball or something. I don't know.
All my homies hate the gnome ball. If I could
For better,
nuke
for worse, what would you do?
anything from the game.
Gone forever.
The one thing that jumps out at me that sticks that I think might be uniquely interesting in like a funny way. What if we nuked clue rewards?
Oh. So what would you
Like,
get from clues? Just
You don't.
GP, or they're just
No.
fun to say that you did it?
Or maybe just nuke clues. Just get rid of clue scrolls. What does that do? What does that do to this game? Because what initially came up in my head was like, oh, get rid of God D'hide. That's a fun armor set.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, well, you still get black D'hide from clues. And then I'm like, what if we just get rid of the clue scroll table? What if we just got rid of maybe even like the hard clue scroll?
Just
table?
elite
That
clues.
offers some like beneficial stuff.
Just get elite clues
Like
out
what,
of here.
what does the game look like if you just completely nerf clue scrolls out of the game? Because like a lot of things, like people hunt clue scrolls to do more clue scrolls, but like God D'hide is big. The vestment robes can be big. I'm trying to think of like the ham joint is niche and important in Tob and Fazani's Nightmare. I'm trying to think of like other clue uniques that we would have to get rid of that could have a major impact in the game. Like Third Age and Gilded don't really do anything. They're just cosmetics.
Mm-hmm.
And I think like this would be less fun because like, a lot of Fashionscape comes from clue items,
True.
So like that would be disappointing, but trying to like from a gameplay perspective, what it looks like to get rid of all that could be interesting to just like completely eliminate the clue scroll rewards. Just every single one of them. No ranger boots, no pegs, no prims because prims would still be in the game, but pegs wouldn't be in the game. No holy sandals, nothing. Just all of it's gone. No ranger set, no trimmed armor, nothing.
Do you think if clue scrolls never existed, that Jagex would have found a way to get these items into the game? I think they would. But do you think if you were like if you went into the code
microtransactions?
No, I'm thinking so like ham joint, for instance.
Yeah.
You could have like a 1 in 1,000 chance from killing a pig of some sort for it to drop a ham joint.
Could be fun.
You could like have other more interesting ways for these things to happen. You could like put a rare chance for some sort of armor, like a suit of armor to drop the Third Age. Or maybe there's like reanimated things from the Third Age that drop those items on a very rare chance. But I don't think having rare items in the game just to fill the niche of rare things makes sense. But there are some useful items like the Ranger boots. Where do those come from now? Are they just like a nobody drop and maybe the Pegasian crystal finally takes its seat as the 30 million GP crystal?
I mean, like at that point,
just like
at that point, it's pointless to even
them.
have Pegasians. Pegasians no longer serve a purpose.
Well, I'm just thinking, like, is there another boot that we can combine the Pegasian crystal with? And then, like, instead of the Pegasian crystal, snakeskin, yeah. Well, I'm saying, like Eternal boots and Dragon boots are pretty like mid. So what's another mid boot? Snakeskin, could be frog leather, something stupid, but like adding the crystal actually makes it worth it.
Mm-hmm.
D4 Jake says Rangers now come from spiritual Rangers. Yeah, like keeping with the theme. There's now fun. Like a boot that comes from the Rangers, not the Texas Rangers, but the spiritual Rangers. I don't know. Like clues are I could do without clues in the game. I think it would.
I just think it would be kind of chaotic to see what happens if we got rid of clue scrolls.
Yeah. After that's a year or so, we would balance it. Like it would go back to normal.
Yeah.
But here's a question: does all of the items in your scenario, does all the items that previously came from clues get deleted? Or are we just like in a world now where all the ranger boots in the game are the ones that are in the game?
Oh, that's so
And they
cruel.
shoot up to
No,
like
they
16
just
bill.
get deleted because that would
Okay,
be
cool.
that'd be kind of cringe. That'd be kind of cringe if we made them unobtainable items now.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Purple
Dude.
sweets are no longer.
Oh
the
my
meta
god,
for
no purple
mega
sweets.
raids.
Yo, that'd be nuts. No purple sweets would be kind of funny, actually. Just to see what would happen. You know, how does that change this game without purple sweets? You know what I mean?
They would have to make it so you could eat karambuanji or something. Another stackable food.
Oh my god. That'd be stupid. What would you remove from the game?
I would remove all forms of graceful. I think that we need to make.
You really hate the player base. Holy shit.
Well, for better or for worse, right? If you suddenly went into the code and you just like deleted graceful and they could never get it back, that forces Jagex to do something about agility in a meaningful way. Instead of just like having this like band-aid in the back of their, in their back pocket of like, well, agility's fine right now because we have graceful and everybody is forced to wear it. Like they would have to do something about the run energy issue and make agility worth training. I think graceful is another crutch that we're kind of like forced to have.
Bro,
as
graceful
players.
as a crutch is a wild opinion. That's insane.
Well, think about it like this: like if
I don't think
graceful
you're
wasn't
wrong.
a thing,
I just think it's kind of funny. You know?
Okay.
That's just holy shit, dude.
Not the negative wild, but like a good wild.
There. Oh my god.
Other than graceful, I don't know. Like anything else, it would just be removing it for spite. Not out of spite, but like I'm gonna take Torva out of the game. There's no real point. Like any of the like the end game stuff, like removing a mega rare really wouldn't do anything. But removing graceful, that would make a splash. I was gonna say I'm gonna remove law runes and make everybody walk places, but then I just think that would not be fun.
Yeah, no, that wouldn't be a good time. It would not be a good time.
Well, that was from the dome. I hope it was a good one. We've been getting we had a surplus of fun questions for a while, and now we're kind of in like a dry streak, a dry patch. So if you have a fun question and you like listening to this, this part of the show and you want to ask a fun question, send it on over. You can send it to us via email. We don't have a way to text it. I was going to say that, but that's not true. You can email it, DM it, just post it in Discord. One way or another, we'll find it and we'll ask the fun question at the end of the show. But if Oxie doesn't have anything else, I'm going to send you guys home.
I don't have anything else. I'm going to anxiously watch the end of this Lions game. And then,
oh my gosh,
I don't know. Maybe I'll read my new RuneScape book. I don't know. But
anyway, nice. Well, that's going to do it, folks. Thank you so much for listening. We hope you guys enjoyed this episode and that you learned something about yourselves, about how you're going to play bingo and all that stuff. So, and we'll see you for bingo very soon. Just as a reminder, signups are closed, but you need to pay your buy-in.
Buy-ins,
have not
please.
paid your
Yes.
buy-in.
Buy-ins, please.
Let us know. We're gonna be taking those until the end of day on Friday, and the draft is on Saturday. If you want to check out more of Xpwaste, everything you could ever want is going to be in the description below. We have links to all of our social medias, to our merch shop. Make sure to get your cold weather items soon. Sometimes they can take like 2 or 3 weeks to ship out to you. So if you need a hoodie, it's starting to become more like fall in parts of America. So
indeed,
make sure you get your Xpwaste hoodies, and you can follow us on whatever platform you're listening / watching. If you're on YouTube, make sure you comment and subscribe and do all that engagement stuff. But yeah, that's going to do it for the show, guys. Thank you so much again for listening, and we'll see you guys next time.
Bye everyone.